the break between this gray and black and the marling was right at my nipple line. Hi, I'm Sharon, and this is episode 325 of the Knit Style Podcast. Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 325. I have a pretty full episode for you today. We're going to start off by talking about shop update, and then we're going to move into a new segment that I am calling Wishlist, and I'm going to show you some things that I'm going to be hopefully knitting this year. Then I have a finished object, and I also have two major knit and crochet fails to show you. Disappointing, but entertaining for you. And that will be our show. So if you haven't subscribed already, I would be forever grateful if you subscribed to this channel. Subscribing helps me out, and it helps people find other knitting podcasts if that is what they're interested in. And I'm almost at 4,000 subscribers. I would love to have 4,000 subscribers this year. That would be amazing. So if you could subscribe if you haven't already, that would be great, and give this a big thumbs up as well. Okay, so let's get right into it. First thing I have to show you is the most adorable bag yarn combo. So this bag, Donna picked this out, and it has adorable kitties all over the bag, and yarn, and knitting sayings like super fancy yarn, yarn basket, I love to knit, knit pearl, premium wool, and this little kitty even has a hat. He's kind of hiding here on the bottom. The fabric's going to vary with each bag, but this is so cute. I just love this. And I dyed a very simple yarn that matches the bag, I think, really well. This bag has a lot of white, so I left a lot of white space in the yarn with a little bit of black and some pink speckling and some orange and gold speckling to match. So I think this came out amazing. And if you want the full set, you can find it in my shop. And if you want just the bag, you can go to Donna's shop, which is linked down below. Donna's Designs shop on Etsy. And she has a lot of really beautiful bags in her shop, if kitty and knitting don't appeal to you. So anyway, I'm calling this one Knitty Kitty. I have a knitty kitty, Thomas. Thomas keeps me company when I craft, and he's very cute. Speaking of cats, I did a second run of kitty cat colorways. Some of them I dyed in full skeins. And I'm going to show those to you right now. So this one is tortoise shell. Comment down below if you have a tortoise shell cat. They are almost always female, and if they are male, they are sterile. I knew this, but I reiterated it when I was doing research on colors. And yeah, so these skeins wear very widely, just like their furry namesakes. I mean, this one has a little bit of white. I just think they're so pretty. There's another one. So this is tortoiseshell. Such a beautiful cat color. And This one, I think this is Cream Tabby. Hold on, let me take a look. So I got a lot of these colors from a chart I found online. It's on my phone. You're not going to be able to see it that well, but there's the lineup of all the different cat color variations. And it was a very interesting chart to look at. But anyway, this one is Cream Tabby. And it is so pretty. So I did a dark ginger last time, and this one's like a lighter ginger cat. Even has hints of rose gold in there. I just love this color. This would make a beautiful sweater. So it has I did a lot of layers with this. It has a lot of variation and depth to it. Love that color. And those are the only two colors that I did full skeins of, but I did some minis. I did some mini skein sets, and I love how these came out. You ready? I love them. They're so pretty. So, and I may dye full skeins of them in the future, but this is Calico. This is the Ginger Tabby, or the Ginger Tabby? Vanilla, Cream Tabby. Cream Tabby that I just showed you. This is Blue Point, different than Russian Blue because it has more darker and lighter tones in it. So this is Blue Point. This is Tortoiseshell, which I just showed you. And this is the color of my cat, Thomas. This is like, I think they call it like piebald, but it's a tabby with white, basically. He's a tabby cat with a lot of white. And there's so many different variations of markings, and cats are cool, and the colors are very cool as well. So, yeah, those were super fun to do. So if you want full skeins of any of those colors, like if you just have to have a full skein of tabby and white or calico, calicos are also almost always female, or Blue Point Siamese, let me know, and I will make that happen for you. Okay, so that's all of the dyeing that I did this week. I do have another listing I want to talk about. So I'm going to be doing another mini skein listing in between, or just right before my Halloween one that I'm going to do over the summer, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But I'm going to do a mystery mini skein set that I'm calling Hues, Tints, and Shades. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. So without boring you with color theory, my Hues, Tints, and Shades minis, I'm going to pick 4 colors. And within those 4 colors, I'm going to dye 3 variations. So, for example, the hue, which means the color, the hue might be purple. The tint will be a light, so a tint is adding white or making it into a lighter shade, which I would use less dye. So hue, tinted, a lighter hue, and then shade is when you add black. So these are all the same hue, but they are different variations of the purple hue. So hue, tint, and shade. So it will be 12 minis, 3 different hues with 3 different variations. And they will, this is not a tonal, this is a speckle, but they will all be tonals, possibly lightly speckled. My idea being that if you want, you know, heels, toes, and cuffs, or if you want to do a fun shawl with, you know, those variations. I haven't decided what colors I'm going to do yet. I'll probably do purple. It might not be this exact hue of purple, but I love purple. I'm looking at you, Trish. I know you love purple too. You're a fellow purple lover. It's my favorite color, and I love dyeing it. So, anyway. So that's going to be really fun, and a fun dye challenge for me. So I'm looking forward to that. For those of you who got my no frills 25 skein mini skein sets, I am so glad you like those. I got so many messages from you guys, so many emails saying, wow, these are gorgeous. You loved them. Thank you. That makes me so happy. So I'm really glad that you loved those, because I really love dyeing them, and I thought they came out great. So this is just a little bit different. It's only 12 this time, but they would pair great with those other minis if you have that set, or any other minis. It's nice to hold them together with a variegated mini. You know, to marl. I talked about marling on my last show. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch. So yeah. All right, so that update is going to be going up, and those will probably ship out at the very latest by the end of June, or no, by the middle of June. So my other ones I said I would ship at the end of April, and I actually got those out mid-April, probably even a little sooner. So I'll as soon as I get a bunch of orders, I will order the minis and start dyeing them, and I will have them to you. Then I want to talk about my next, this is sort of like a club. I mean, I could do this as a Hue Shade Minis club every month if I wanted to, and I might. If you guys like it, I might. But I'm doing a really cool Halloween mini skein set. So last year I did a 3 skein shawl. I had a designer design a shawl, and I dyed 3 skeins, and it was themed after the Addams Family, and it was really nice. And Amanda, the designer, agreed to design another shawl for me, and I am ever so grateful to Amanda for doing that, because I just don't have time to design right now as much as I love to do it. So she's designing a shawl for me, and the yarn is going to be 13 mini skeins, and the theme is Dark 13. So the mini skeins will be shaded dark, very dark, like ink, like black. So my vision is color with an overlay of black, and with the colors peeking through. So that's my vision, and maybe some other little tricks in there too. And it'll be 13 dark mini skeins. So I'm going to dye those up this month and send them out to her so she can design the shawl. And then those will probably go up as a pre-order sometime early, like mid-June, early July, and they will be out by September 1st, so you can knit them during spooky season. So I'm really excited about that one. Just a little heads up. And they'll be mystery colors. Okay, so that is it for shop update. Thank you so much. What I'm wearing today, I am wearing the Mayhem shawl by Helen Stewart. I knit this in 2018. This color here is Russian Blue, which I think I have a skein of back here. One left. Yeah, Russian Blue. And love this. It's a cat color. If you want a sweater's worth or more than just one skein, let me know. I will make that happen for you. And the brown is a Woolen Vine, my friend Kristen, in I Am No Bird. This is one of my favorite colors that she dyes. I love this color. I mean, look at the variation in that. It's beautiful. And it looks beautiful with my Russian Blue. Okay. Wishlist knitting. There are two patterns that I would like to at least start this year. I've talked about one of them before, and that is Stoker by Isolde Teague. I will put a photo right up here. I have the yarn. It's beautiful. So I've never knit anything with, I've swashed with this, but I have never knit with it. But this is Lopi. And my friend Susan and I are going to do a knit along with this. We've been meeting once a week while Susan is in town because she travels back and forth from Florida. And we met on Tuesday, and these are the three colors that I'm using. So Isolde's was a deep gray with yellow and, I don't know, you'll see it right here, yellow and white maybe. So we decided, Susan and I decided we're going to do a light gray with the charcoal and the white. Susan loves black and white, and I do too. And I love gray. This is my favorite color, right here. This light gray. Love this color. I love gray. It's so funny when I watch my friend Corey, I Rock Knits. When I watch her podcast, I laugh because she's like the polar opposite of me. She knits with such bright colors. I do too sometimes, but this has my heart. This dove gray. I love this. My favorite color, and she hates this color. So it's hilarious. But anyway, so this is going to be our sweater, and I'm really excited about it. Yeah, I'm hoping sometime this summer we're going to cast on. So Susan went to Iceland. I think I told that story. And she picked up these skeins in Iceland. And it just so happens that these two skeins will be enough for both of us to knit with the contrasting colors. So I'm going to split them up on my Swift for us. And we're going to use these colors as our contrast. Susan is currently knitting Stephen West's Marled Garter Marler cardigan for her son. So I don't know. It's a big sweater, so we'll see. But I have other knitting to do in the meantime until we can cast that on. So I hope I can wait that long, Susan, to cast that Stoker on, because I really want to cast it on now, but I'll wait. So the other thing in my wish list that I want to knit is the heart print shawl, and I'm going to put a picture of that right up here, and that is by Romy Hill. I've had this in my queue on Ravelry for literally years, and I've had this yarn a very long time. It's another Woolen Vine color, Mexican Hot Chocolate. I love it. I started another shawl with it and frogged it and washed the yarn because it just, I wasn't feeling it. But I think it'll be really pretty in this heart print. I hope I have enough. I should. I think this is 800. I think it's like 800. We'll see. I'll shorten it if not. I'll figure it out. So yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm hoping to start that. It'll be nice summer knitting, very light. So that is what's on my wish list for this week. Finish object. I have finally finished my Space Wizard socks. So the yarn is Space Wizard by Mustache, and I ordered this skein last year for her May the 4th update, and she just had her May the 4th update, or the Star Wars update in May, and this was her colorway, new one from last year, and her new one from this year is Mando and Baby G, which is Mandalorian themed, and I ordered a skein, of course, because I had to. So I'm really happy with these socks. I love Stacy's dyeing. I just absolutely love. I do not dye self-striping, so I can't even imagine. Props to you all who do self-striping dyeing. It's like magical alchemy. Too much like math and figuring out you have to use warping boards and so much work. And that's why they're a lot more money, but they're worth it because look how beautiful. So what I did with this one, I like a nice long cuff. A nice long cuff is great for me because my feet get cold and my ankles get cold. If I cannot wear shorty socks ever. They don't work for me because my ankles freeze. Usually I'm wearing leg warmers in the winter. That's just how I roll. So anyway, it's got a nice long cuff. I do a 2x2 rib and a plain cuff. And then I do a fish lips kiss heel. So what I do, so Stacy's yarn comes, she separates it into must match skeins, yes. So she does 2 equal, I don't have the other skein. No way. Is this it? No. I do not have the other skein. But there should be another one. So what I do is I knit this cuff with one skein, and then I take the other skein, and she also makes sure that each skein matches. So if you wind them the correct way, they're gonna make it both socks match, and they do. They match perfect. So what I do is for the heel, sometimes if I don't want to break up the stripe sequence, and I didn't want to on these, what I do is I take the other skein and I take the outside of the other skein and I do the heel. So the heel is like this sequence up here, and it doesn't break this up. And then I do it for the other sock. I hope that makes sense. To make beautiful, and these match really well. I love them. They are going right in my sock drawer right now. I'm gonna go downstairs after I finish recording this, and I'm putting these in my sock drawer. Because I will wear socks probably until it gets like to be in 90s, and then I will put them away for like 2 months, and then I'll have them out again in September, I'm sure, because my feet get cold. The other thing I've been working on is another pair of mustache socks. I showed you I had started these last time. These are another colorway of hers called Not All Who Wander Is Lost, which is a Lord of the Rings reference. And I love these neutrally colors, love. And this was a short skein. It was a mill end. Perfectly beautiful, just not quite as much yardage. I think it was 70 yards, which is plenty for a pair of socks for me, even a full pair. But I decided to add a contrasting cuff and toe, not cuff, heel and toe, with some leftovers I had from M's socks. And this is Defender of the Home Tree, which is a Yoda reference. And yeah, here's the other one. So what I did was, on this ball, I took the outer part of this ball and did the heel for this. And then for the second sock, I'll match it, because the way she winds it, it'll match. I will take the outer part of this ball and put it in the second sock. And what I'll probably do is I will take this like bright green and white out and make the toe look into the next speckle sequence. So I'm excited. Those are so pretty. And those colors coordinate really well. Once I run out of, or decide not to buy mustache for a while, I will knit up all the leftovers. Hang on, I'll show you the bag of my leftovers. I have them right over here. I mean, I could probably get at least 5 pairs of socks. Fun, scrappy socks out of all these leftovers, which I intend to do. So, this pink was my favorite. I loved this. This was a Valentine one. If you watch my old episodes, I frogged these and washed the yarn and reknit them because I messed them up. But, yep, love. These are all mine. Yeah, precious. I love them. So, yeah, that's my sock knitting. Successful. Let's talk about my tale of woe that I had this week. Oof. Okay, do you remember the beautiful marled sweater body that I showed you last week? The Marled Mania sweater? I'll put some footage of the sweater from last week. Well, this is how it looks now. I frogged it. The whole thing. This is what I did at Susan's house on Tuesday. All I did was frog. I think I might have knit on socks a little bit, but I did a lot of frogging. So, I still love this. Love. But what happened... So this sweater, Steven's a man, obviously. He has a male physique. He identifies as male, as far as I know. He's a he. So he has a male physique, and on him, this yoke comes to like here. On me, and I thought that it was fixed with blocking, but then after I tried it on, after a couple days, I think it kind of shrunk up a little bit more, so it wasn't working. So the break, and I don't have pictures of it. I should have taken a photo, but I didn't. The break between this gray and black and the marling was right at my nipple line. Now it was below Stephen West's bust line, but it hit me right here. And if I pulled it down, it wasn't so bad, but you know what? I don't want to be tugging on my sweater. So, I ripped it all out. I showed Susan. I'm like, Susan, I want your opinion. And she looked at it, and I knew she probably didn't want to say, that looks terrible. But I said, Susan, should I rip this out? It's hitting me at my nipple line. She said, yes, you should. Yes, you should rip it. So I did. So no big deal. I loved knitting it, so I'm going to love knitting it again. And so how I'm modifying this, and if you're going to be knitting this sweater, and I know at least one of you ordered this yarn for it, it'll work for you. All you need to do, this should work. So after splitting for the sleeves, you immediately right away start the marling with the different colors. So what I'm going to do after ripping it is now I'm just going to keep going with this yoke, with this ribbing here. Not doing any increases because I'm on the body. So hopefully, well, it should, I've measured. So it should bring it down under my bust line, and then, like right here, and then I'll start the marling here. So it'll cut me here, not here. I love it though. It's so comfortable. This is like a sweatshirt knit. You know what I mean? I made it a little oversized. It's really only supposed to have a couple inches of ease. I think I made it with like 5 inches of ease, but I love that. And I'm probably gonna crop it slightly too. It's just really nice. So I just have to redo it. It's fine. And that would have been fine, but I also had another knitting, well, it wasn't a knitting disaster. It was a crochet disaster. So this is a cautionary tale about how your gauge changes, or in my case, it could have been the fact of I lost the crochet hook that I was using and didn't write down the number or the millimeter of the crochet hook that I was using. So 2 years ago, I started a baby blanket for Richie's granddaughter and her husband, because I figured that they would be trying to have a baby at some point. They were married 2 years ago. After they got married during that summer, I think it was the summer of 2021. They got married in 2021. I started a crochet baby blanket with it was probably my 2020 mini skein set in DK. And you guys, if you watched back then, you will have seen this. So here's the blanket. And I put it aside because they, I didn't expect them to get pregnant right away, but after the summer, I was like, I'm just going to put this aside. And when, if and when they decide to have a child, I will pull it back out again. Well, while I was in Florida in March, they made the announcement they're having a baby. I don't know what they're having. It won't matter because look at this beautiful blanket. Gender neutral, beautiful colors, love, all different colors. I dyed all of these and I absolutely love them. So Rich is going to be a great grandpa, which is so funny to me, but anyway. I don't know what she's having. So I found the pattern, was in my phone, and it was kind of rough in the beginning. I'm not the best crocheter. I can do basic crochet. I love it. It's great. I can do basic increases and decreases. But I found this one like really a little bit difficult to read, because it's a ripple and you have to make sure that everything lines up. So I must have ripped it out a bunch of times because it wasn't, I was off by a stitch or two, because I would always remember to do the decreases, but I sometimes would forget to do these increases right here. Well, that's not the problem I had this past Tuesday when I was at Susan's house. So I pulled this thing out to show Susan. I'm like, look at the beautiful blanket, blah, blah, blah. I put it on the floor, and I realized I had done maybe 10 colors. I'd done like 20 inches, not 20 inches, 10 inches. I'd done about 10 inches, 12 inches. My gauge was so much bigger. So this end where I started 2 years ago is about 28 inches across. This end that I didn't measure, silly me. This end is like 33 inches across. So I am frogging that. So I looked at the pattern. The pattern said to use I think this is a 5.5 millimeter hook. And I had the hook. Not with the project though. So I'm wondering if I had a different size hook, but I probably would have used the hook that the project recommended because there's no reason why I wouldn't. You know what I mean? The gauge really doesn't matter in the project unless your gauge is looser 2 years from when you started it. And everything's bigger. So I ordered a 5 millimeter and a 4.5. And I think I'm going to rip this back to where I started, which is I think on this color. I'll know because I had pictures of it. So I'll rip it back to here and then use the smaller crochet hook for a couple of rows, and then I'll measure again. Because it's wildly different. It looks ridiculous. So anyway, I had to rip out like 2 weeks of work on that. Again, I love this. I absolutely love crocheting this. It is so much fun. I'm actually even holding some yarn double because I don't think I'm going to have enough to make it long enough. So I'm holding some mini skeins double, and that's fun. So yeah. That's my tale of woe this week. That's crazy. It's okay. If you have any knitting disasters, I would love to hear about those down below. And I think what I'll do is I'll pick a winner for a giveaway. I have some yarn over here from the company that used to send me yarn that no longer sends me yarn, but I still have some left. And it's beautiful. So make a comment down below. Tell me some knitting disasters, or make a comment about anything you heard in the show. Everything counts. And yeah. So with that, I'm going to end this. I hope you all have a great 2 weeks. I will be back in 2 weeks. My 2-week recording schedule is working out very well for me, and I like it a lot. So I'm going to keep with that for a while. Check out the shop if you are in need of some minis or some kitty cat yarn. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Knit something beautiful, and cheers.